Okay, good evening, not good evening, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Montour Falls is where the New York State Fire Academy is. Okay, now I'm going to hold on one second. Okay, so I just want to explain something. This is something that I had to explain in court. I just want to explain this. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. So I'm taking my socks and shoes off. Now, I'm going to explain this. President Trump, which I'm going to try and make this very simple. I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory. Okay? Fred Trump, which is Donald Trump's father, was in the real estate. My relative from Mall and Sanchez and the Montpelier family were in New York. Those are all my relatives' names. There's other names. There's Curfy. There's the Gaetano, which is Gaetno. That's one of my relatives' names. I'll repeat it. Gaetano. Gaetano. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. And then there's the Mandrucula family, which I'm going to put in the description as well. I'm not going to spell it because I'd have to go back and forth. So I want to explain this. Fred Trump was in the real estate business. He explains everything to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was questioned so many times, ladies and gentlemen, about not just the real estate license that he has, but when he was in university. I'm not going to name the university, ladies and gentlemen, because it's an insult to him. He was this is what I am going to explain. He was accused of not passing any of those courses, in which it's absolutely ridiculous. He graduated, he passed. He went through pain and suffering, ladies and gentlemen, which I had to explain in not just court, but outside, in college. Donald did not have an easy life. He had a difficult life. He did not get along. He was in the city with the construction business. He did not get along with not just the Irish mafia. He did not get along with the Italian mafia or any of those mafia organizations. He did not get along with them. His father did not get along with those people because they weren't the problem. They were not the issue, ladies and gentlemen. The issue was the United States government was the problem. Because there was, for a very long time, even since George Washington, when he became president, there has been, you have things that are run by secret organizations that is not supposed to be, you're not supposed to touch things that have to do with relics or totems or any of that stuff. This person is a professor. Judikaiilles. She's a professor. One of her relatives was a professor. She told me to get one of these books. This book I got, and I have another book that's in my room somewhere. It's underneath here. I'm not looking for it. This is a book on spells. I had books like this that I had in my room. They're not in my room anymore. In my parents' house. Now, in my room, I'm going to show you a Magnus Macardus. This, ladies and gentlemen, this person, women who think too much. I'm not going to mention her name, ladies and gentlemen. Susan, and then I'm N-O-L-E-H. Yeah, N-O-L-E-N, I'm sorry. H-O-E-K-S-E-M-A. That's H-O-E-K-S-E-M-A. This is one of the professors that I had. The psychology of money. Morgan. H-O-S-H-H-O-U-S-E-L. He's a professor, ladies and gentlemen. He's not just an author. Some of these people are professors. Barron. How many Barron books did President Trump or some of his relatives have? And you're accusing them of things that they didn't do. And that's wrong. Exam Cram, Exam FX, and it was listed online. I have books with annuities and etc. Life and health insurance. I had one that said 63. I had one that said 65. I had that one that said Series 7. It's not in my room, ladies and gentlemen. It's not in my parents' room. There's a reason why I'm going back and forth, ladies and gentlemen, because I read. I understand. I don't appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up a person, and his name's Piers Morgan. I'm going to bring him up. I don't appreciate him being accused of stuff that he didn't do. He has a long dossier, ladies and gentlemen. Piers Morgan has a long dossier of history. And he was doing verbal or vocal version of table tennis or what you call tennis or ping pong with Andrew Tate, and it was like a versus match, Andrew versus Piers Morgan. But Piers Morgan, I'm going to say you were accused of crimes. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, because I wouldn't live with myself. When I was in court, they accused you of stuff. It wasn't just you, Mr. Morgan. It was some of your relatives. They accused him of crimes. They accused Dr. Phil McGraw of crimes. And I can't sit here and deal with that stuff, because it's wrong. I'm upset because Mr. Fallon, Jimmy Fallon, he got accused of stuff. Mr. Jimmy Kimmel, he got accused of stuff. And it was all brought up in not just my case, it was brought up in cases that I had to handle. And I can't be sitting here, ladies and gentlemen, or laying in a bed and sitting here and lying to you. I feel terrible for your relatives. What did he go through? This guy suffered. This guy suffered. And you're taking it out on some of those people. Because Sharon, who's related to that person, she was in Columbia University. And that person, the Dr. whatever, Dr. D, you did things with religious, not religious people like you think. You did things with people's careers that they don't, it's a faith to them. It's not a religion. A religion has to do with cult things. It's a faith to them. What you did to a lot of these relatives of mine is you just slapped them in the face. Or you just took a broom, ladies and gentlemen, and you did this. And that's not right. That's not right to the police departments or the FDNY. Now the government shut down. Ladies and gentlemen, not foreseeing the future, but I see certain things in life. And my own relative, I'm going to take my cowboy relative's hat that he gave me. I had a relative named Uncle Alex or Uncle Anthony, and they were cowboy people, like that TV show Yellowstone. And I can't sit here, ladies and gentlemen, and just lie to you. It's wrong. And it's insulting. Plagiarism is wrong. And you're not seeming to understand. The stuff that has to do with SAG and the whole contract. You had my writing. Mr. Michael Suvereau, he passed away. Howard Peterson, a United States Marshal, he's not around anymore. He passed away. You're insulting my relatives that are in the sheriff's department as well. That's not just in the FDNY. That's in Homeland Security. It's insulting. And you're not seeming to get the picture. Trump is asking you guys, not just Trump, his staff members is asking, what are you guys doing with not just foreign intelligence money? What are you doing with companies that deal with the American Red Cross or the cancer associations? What are you doing with the research and development? What are you exactly doing? What is you have Mr. Kennedy in front of that podium, and you're asking him questions in which he needs to not speak just to me. He needs to speak to somebody like John Zerka and me. Because it's not just Valerie Tate or Janine Tate. There's other people that's involved in this. There's too many people involved in this. You're not answering. See, Rocco is with U.S. Mutual, and he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do, ladies and gentlemen, because you're just not answering the questions. You're not speaking to the right set of people, and you're verbally hitting him. You're verbally hitting Mr. Kennedy with the broom every time and asking him, what are they doing? What they're doing is they're not following the hospital Bill of Rights, ladies and gentlemen. They're not following commerce law. A hospital cannot be a corporation. You can't have a psychiatry facility known as a mental health clinic or facility. That's not the correct designation for those facilities. And you can't just make a false diagnosis that somebody is bipolar or schizophrenic without running blood tests or anything like that. You have to run blood tests. You have to check the red count and the white count and make sure the person doesn't have a head injury or the person is not hyper or hypoglycemic. That means it has to do with sugar intake. And that has to do, ladies and gentlemen, with not just this book. This book, I have 2 of these books. Some of my books are not here. They took my books out of my room that have notes that I had to testify about. And that's a serious problem. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Fallon, Mr. Jimmy Fallon, but you're not supposed to have, you're not allowed to have Kim on the show because her own legal attorney said she's got a case. She's not supposed to be in front of the public. She has to handle that matter, and it's a serious problem. And I'm going to mention Ivanka as well. For a very long time, Ivanka got accused of things, and she didn't have an easy life. She had a hard upbringing, and she got accused of crimes she didn't do. She got accused of things she didn't do, and she didn't do anything wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And she's got a serious problem because the case that has to do with Rudy Giuliani with the elections is associated with her, and it's associated with me, and I can't touch my medical license or accounting license or legal license anymore. I had to walk away from it. And Rocco's staff members, not just Rocco, but my other relative, Uncle Benjamin, who's related to these sheriff's departments and the marshals, are saying, you can't walk away from this stuff, John. You have to go back into court. And I said, what am I supposed to do? My hands are tied. They won't give me my licenses back. They won't give me my credentials back. They took stuff not just from me. They took it from Harold Peterson and Harold Peterson's relatives. And they're holding me, I'm sorry to say this, ladies and gentlemen, they're holding me hostage here because they're not just holding me hostage, they're holding my relatives hostage because the stuff in the city has to do with me. It has to do with my career and work. And Mark Rubenstein is a rabbi, and Timothy Dolan is a cardinal. And those people are what you call close friends of mine, and they're even saying to me, why is this Slater and Suffman case that has to do with the churches and this Rockefeller Institute, why does it have our relatives' credentials or our relatives' medical records or relatives' information? And I said to them, they just don't have your records. They have other people's records. And it has to do with this Richard Sokolov person that I have no idea who he is. I have no idea who Richard Sokolov is. And that's a serious problem. I don't make up when I say in the past there was a case that has to do with abuse, my mom had to take me to Mr. Goldberg in Rockville Center because I got abused at Winthrop Elementary School. I had to go through different forms of what you call private school. Hofstra, I had to go to Hofstra University or Sylvan Learning Center. Not just those schools. They had me do stuff at Kellenberg during the summertime and part of the fall time. They had me listed because I had to take an exam. I had to retake an exam. And my uncle, David Gaetjens, had to fill out forms. My aunt, Ginny Gaetjens, had to take fill out, sign papers. Virginia had to sign papers. Rose Zangrillo, who was my godmother at the time, she had to sign papers. Cindy Strouch, she had to sign papers. Ricky Strouch, he had to sign papers. Mr. and Mrs. Farahan, they had to sign papers. I was abandoned at age 5. I was left by myself. I went to mitzvah school and I went to catechism. And I didn't finish mitzvah school, ladies and gentlemen. I had to go to so many funerals and so many what they call the Jewish version of a funeral, awakes. I had to go to so many of them. I think it's the wake.
Yahuah.
Yahuah. That has to do with Jewish funerals. A wake. I had to go to a wake where they honor the dead and a rabbi comes in. So that's what I have to say, ladies and gentlemen. I can't sit here and lie to you. It's not right what particularly goes on. I made this video, I tried to make this video. This is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm finished. I'm done making videos for good. This is the last and final video for me. Because in my life, I'm going to transition to another thing. So take care, guys. Have a pleasant and wonderful day.